2020 is upon us, and it means new things, big things are gone, as they say. I'm delighted to be joined by my new comrade for 2020, sideman, wingman. What should I say? Should I just introduce
engagement officer.
Dirty Harry? How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Now, the whole objective of this year is to, get a bit of more interaction from the fans. And what better way than a weekly Q&A with yourself? And I'd like to pass on that baton so we can interact with the fans and get into some real juicy questions.
Yeah.
The topic of today, Fury versus Wilder, Wilder versus Fury. I'm already excited.
I am as well. I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be so unpredictable in some ways that trying to do an analysis and trying to predict things is always going to be difficult because you've got two very unpredictable characters in Fury and Wilder and two very unpredictable fighters. So I'm going to try my best. I'm going to look through the questions that we've got and we're going to see what we can come up with.
Yeah. Tyson Fury is one of those characters, whatever he does is controversial, it's exciting, it's dramatical. And just before this fight, he's introduced a new trainer. We talked about that off air. And the plot thickens.
Yeah.
New year, new trainer, new angle to look at this fight. Will he adapt to Sugar Hill Stewart's training methods, even though he's been there before? But it's been a long time since he's been there.
Yeah, it's been, I think, over 10 years, which is it's a very long time. It doesn't seem like that with Fury's career. It seems to be going in the blink of an eye at times, even though it's quite stop-start. But we'll see. This is his fourth or fifth trainer his entire career. He started out with Huey Fury, then he had John Fury. I know he did a few things in the Kronk gym when he first started out. Then Ben Davison. Now he's gone back to the Kronk, so Sugar Hill. It's interesting. Very interesting to see. I think we'll see on the night how it all goes.
What do you think he wants to add to his, his game for this fight? The first thing I'll be looking at, I'll be saying to myself, hold on. You boxed a masterclass for 12 rounds. Just the thing to take from that fight was you got knocked down twice. So the simple equation would be box like you did last time and don't get knocked down.
I think there's a couple of other factors in there that he's already dealt with. So he boxed a masterclass. In my opinion, I think he beat Deontay Wilder. I think it was an absolute schooling. Some people are saying, well, Wilder got 2 knockdowns, that means he won the fight. And it's almost like, go and read the Marcus of Queensberry rules. That's not how boxing works. So he's looked at that. Why did he not get the decision? Well, it's politics. So he realised he needed American influence, so he signed with Bob Arum. So that's almost like step 1 done. Obviously, don't get knocked down. I don't think he's gone into a fight wanting to get knocked down, but yeah, he's going to be working on that. And if there's anyone that can come out with a defensive strategy in the heavyweight division to avoid Wilder's right hand, I think it's Fury. And I think, and this is probably tying in with the new trainer, he's going to be looking to add a little bit more power to his game, a bit more bang, because there were times when he'd stunned or got Wilder because Wilder was gassing because he'd missed that many times. He couldn't quite land. And then Fury just didn't have enough in him, I think, to put him away. And I think that's because he lost all of that weight and he'd been training more for endurance and cardio and stamina than he had been for strength. And you could see that in his physique. If you look at his physique in that fight compared to the Tom Schwartz fight, compared to the Otto Wallin fight, it speaks volumes.
Progress.
Yeah, he's gone from, right, I've got to lose all of this, so he's just slimmed down. Now he's adding more muscle and building off that base of stamina and adding a bit more, just a few things to his game here and there, which I think will make a massive difference in the fight.
My question to you, the first question, both the fighters, would you say in the time since they last fought that they both improved?
I think Fury has made those slight adjustments to improve in different areas of his game. And I also think that because of he's been tested is probably the best way to put it. So like the Otto Wallin fight where he got the cut, he went from being slick boxer, I don't get hit, to right, I've been hit, now I've got to show you where my heart is. I've got to show you where my chin is, where my heart is, and I've got to show that I can sit on a guy's chest and actually put something out. I don't think Wilder's improved. I think Wilder's accepted some things about himself. The only thing I think he's done differently is he stopped winging the right hand in as much, and he started throwing it straight down the pipe. And he's also, I think he's kind of accepted that he's very limited as a boxer, so he's happy to lose rounds. He doesn't. It's not like the Ortiz.
Wow,
so the
limited as a boxer. This is why they call you Dirty Harry, man.
Well, he is. Yeah. I think he's got phenomenal power. He's got a punch like a horse's kick, but most people were boxing rings around him. I mean, look at Artur Spiltzka, southpaw, who Denis Chisora dealt with in 2 rounds. He took Wilder, I think it was round 9, round 10?
Yeah, round 9, I think it was.
Yeah, round 9. So, because he outboxed him. But, like Wilder says, you've got to be perfect for 12 rounds. Yeah. I need 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And he's accepted that, and I think he's really embodying that now. So, in terms of improving, I think mentally, that's an improvement because he's prepared to lose the rounds. He's not going to beat himself up. He's not going to get frustrated with himself, which I think could have a massive part to play in this fight, because you could see in the first fight he was getting frustrated. I think I can't remember the round, but he threw about 6 punches at Fury, just throwing him down, lashing out, and Fury was just ducking, weaving. When he knocked him down in the last round, he was so overjoyed that he'd finally connected, that he was going to get his knockout, that he went in swinging crazily, where if he'd just taken a little step back and timed his punches, he would have knocked Fury out, I think. But because he was so wild, he let Fury recover, and then Fury beat him for the rest of the round.
So what are we saying? Wilder by name, Wilder by nature?
Yeah. Just that weird right hand that seems to just deal with everyone.
Yeah. Let's get into some of the questions from the fans. Right, first question. Keith from Stratford, London. What do you think about the no UK broadcaster picking up the rights to Wilder versus Fury 2? So far, we might add. So
far. I think that's a very, very shrewd move by Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn saw that the rights were there to be bidded for. I think Adam Smith as well has been told by Sky, you have an unlimited budget to get the big fights. They've seen this fight is open. They've put in a monstrous bid. And I think it's just there to piss off Frank Warren, to be honest with you, which I think they've been quite successful in, although I don't think Frank will let on too much, that it has annoyed him. So I think BT have first refusal. It's just a very, very shrewd move by Eddie Hearn and Adam Smith at Sky, because they've stalled it, which means if they pick it up, they'll put this Sky machine behind it and they'll make sure that they promote it phenomenally for the next month or so. But then if it goes to BT, will it leave a taste of sour grapes in BT's mouth?
Well, BT picked up the WWE.
They did, and that was why they got Fury on it, because Aram, I think he had contacts in America that could get Fury into WWE. BT were picking up the WWE. Fury's a BT fighter. It was meant to be up until this fight. We don't know yet. So it was all meant to click into place so that all the channels, all the sort of media bases get the buys, the views, the revenue, and they keep it all in-house and build a star on their own platforms. And it's looking like Sky have thrown a spanner into the works in the UK, which is quite funny.
That's what you call 2020 smoke.
Yeah, that's a bold move by Eddie Hearn.
All right, question number 2. Ben from Harrow. Do you think Ben Davison leaving the Fury camp will have an impact on the outcome of his fight with Wilder?
Yeah, massively. Because, even at Wilder's last fight versus Ortiz, you didn't have Sugar Hill ringside watching, scouting, that I'm aware of anyway. He might have been there, he might not have been filmed. You had Ben Davison. So Ben Davison putting together a game plan. He already came up with the first game plan, which worked. There were a couple of things he could have tweaked on, which I think we've already touched on. But now, is Fury throwing that all out the window? Has he taken that on board, passed it on to his new trainer? Does his new trainer want to work that way, or does he want to work a different way? Like, what? That's the unknown.
Yeah.
I think.
But if you think about it in a positive manner, the unknown might shock Wilder.
Yeah.
For all what Fury did in the first fight, he might adopt a new way.
Yeah.
In the second fight, and he might totally bamboozle Wilder. I mean, Wilder, for much of the first fight, was frustrated.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury always throws a spanner in the works. And I think this decision might have been made a little while ago, but it's such as Tyson Fury's gamesmanship, he's just thrown this in just before this rematch. And I think Wilder's camp will be wondering exactly what tactics he's going to adopt. I mean, how much improvement is he going to make with a new trainer? Quite interesting.
Yeah, and I think that's, again, it's that unknown, isn't it? Was it on mutual terms, or did Ben Davison, did he know he was leaving and he went down to be the sort of face of the camp there to scout out Wilder? Were other people there? There's so many unknowns to that. I think it's going to have an impact. That impact will be revealed on the night. Deep down, it leaves a little bit of uncertainty in my stomach because I am rooting for Fury. I am a Fury fan, but we're going to have to just wait and see how it goes on the night. But I think the thing is, with Tyson, what you've got to remember when you boil a lot of things down, the gamemanship, he's a traveller man. And that pride inside him, that fighting pride, he won't let it fail. He won't purposely screw himself over. Like in the first fight, when everyone was going, why has he teamed up with this Ben Davison? He doesn't know anything about boxing. Now Ben Davison, 2018, he was nominated as a WBC Trainer of the Year. It speaks volumes for the level that Ben Davison's at, and that the insight that Fury had going into that fight of what he needed, not just for that camp, but to get ready for that camp, to then getting ready for the fight, to then go in and have the fight. So Fury's very shrewd, and I'd never count out Fury in that sense. I've just still got those few little butterflies in the tummy. I can tell you're nervous. You're shaking. Just a little bit sort of like, what if? But we'll see on the night.
Right. Steve from Derby. Who do you think has the mental edge going into this fight?
Great question.
Good question. It's a really good question. I think, does anyone outfox Tyson Fury with the mind games?
Well,
probably not. I haven't seen anyone do it so far.
Saying that, though, one thing I have noticed is any time there's meant to be a live public service announcement, not press conference, because Aaron has come out and said there's going to be no formal press conferences. They're going to do the advertising at the American college football games and all this. Wilder's not turned up.
He didn't turn up, yeah.
Because I think
a lot of people spoke about that.
I think Wilder's sort of realised, if I'm in front of this guy, he gets in my head. So I think his management, his camp, and Wilder himself were like, okay, what if we don't take the bait? Fury, going back to the Klitschko camp, the press conference there, the first press conference, he turns up dressed as Batman.
Yeah.
So you've got a champion that's been established for 11, 12 years, dominant, who is used to people turning up almost like, oh, thank you for the opportunity, I'm really glad to be here, thanks for having me. And then Fury turns up dressed as Batman, arrests the Joker. And it's just like, what? So I think they're probably looking at it as Fury has the mental edge in that. I think if you look at the end of the first fight, Wilder had his head down, waiting for the scores to be announced. He was, Lou DiBella walked up to Fury and Warren and was like, yeah, you won that. And that was live on camera as well. Then Fury afterwards, building a bigger profile, having more high-profile fights, getting into things like the WWE. I think Wilder will be looking at that stewing because he's been told he's going to be made a star, and been promised and promised and promised, and it's never quite been delivered. to now he's almost looking at it like, right, okay, we're not going to play your games. You want me to turn up, you want to bait me, you want to call me a dosser, you want to do all the... No, we're not doing that. So I think at the moment Fury, but if it carries on as it is, I may just give it to Wilder, because he's had the same camp from day one, JDS, and then he's brought in Mark Breland, 2-time Olympian, gold medalist. Realise where he's gone wrong in terms of winging in the overhand right. If you look at his last couple of fights, he's putting it straight down the pipe. So mentally, he's thinking, I'm already working on what you've beat me on. And then he's not biting, he's not engaging in the theatrics and the mind games of Fury. So I'm edging towards Wilder.
Wow, edging towards Wilder.
Yeah.
Wow.
I never thought I'd say.
All right. We have a question from Kevin from Crystal Palace. If Wilder has the power but is not as good technically, then does Fury lack the raw punching power to take Wilder out?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I noticed in the first fight. But
Wilder doesn't get chinned. Let's face it, he doesn't get chinned.
I know, but I mean, there's a very good case to say in the first Ortiz fight when he was about to get chinned that there was suddenly a doctor came into his corner.
But when I mean chinned, I mean knocked down. He doesn't really get knocked down.
No, rarely been knocked down, but then you've got to look at the quality of opposition. I mean, did you think Dominic Brazil was going to put him down?
I thought Dominic Brazil would have given him a harder fight than what had transpired, especially with all the beef in the build-up.
But I think all that beef and angst played into that, in that
he left himself open.
He went in, and I don't think he was thinking, let's box. He went in thinking, let's brawl, let's go man to man. He wasn't thinking, let's have a boxing match. He was thinking, let's have a fight. And you can see that where all the game plan, which trainers had said, everything he talked in the media leading up to it, within 10 seconds of that first round, it just switched. They went back and forth.
He feinted the jab.
Yeah.
Came through the right hand. For me, that was knockout of 2019.
Me as well. But
I'm more surprised the knockout was so quick, because when Brazil fought Anthony Joshua, it took Anthony Joshua a longer time to dispatch Brazil. Because for me, I was at that fight that night, and I thought, this Brazil he's a tough lad.
Yeah.
He's stuck in there, and Anthony Joshua at the time was the big puncher, taking all these guys out on the way to their superstardom.
Yeah.
And Brazil just wouldn't go away.
Well, I think there's lots of factors in that, though. I mean, you've got Anthony Joshua is a cumulative puncher. He's not. He can do one punch knockouts, but I think he is more like, I will hurt you.
Wears you down.
Yeah, wear you down. Let you tire yourself out. Then I'm going to hit you with 2-3 punches. You'll be out, or I'm just going to start unloading on you, and a referee will step in and go, nah, you are going to get CTE if you carry on. Whereas Wilder has that just like a light switch, just one punch, lights out, there you go. Also, what you've got to look at, I mean, that was Wilder's, 41st fight? Anthony Joshua's 16th fight as a professional.
And Anthony Joshua did say, if I had as much experience as Deontay Wilder, I'd be knocking more guys out also.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that? Because Deontay Wilder, to be fair to him, his punching power, it looks like it's just God-given.
Yeah.
You'll go out there and just lick off your head top.
Yeah.
And you're down. And I haven't seen a heavyweight in this day and age that punches like a mule. Like literally that right hand can move houses.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like anybody who feels that right hand, I feel they could be down. That's from what I'm seeing. That punching power is tremendous.
Yeah. I think as well, though, like it ties into that experience. Like, look at his resume, because they're saying, every man he's faced, he's knocked out. Yeah, to an extent. Apart from Fury, he didn't knock out Fury because there was no 10 count.
And Fury, he rose up like the Undertaker.
Yeah. And he again, that pride. Yes, he said the first punch put him to sleep, and the second punch woke him up. But he said before that fight, there's an interview. I can't remember who it was with, but he said, there's going to come a point in this fight where he puts me down. And when he does that, I'm going to lay down. I'm not going to try and get up straight away. I'm going to think of my wife, think of my kids, think of everything I've been doing, and then I'm going to get up, which is exactly what he did. If you look at it, you can see he takes a couple of seconds, sits back up, and cracks on.
And then he started unleashing his combo of punches.
Well, you can
if I hold him a minute, weren't you just on the floor like a couple seconds ago?
You can actually hear the referee if you watch the fight back, because the referee, you can tell he's just seen something where he's almost questioning, like, should I let this go on? But he said before the fight, if you get knocked down, I'm going to give you the full time that you need to get up, because this is a world championship fight. You're both undefeated. I'm not going to let this be dubious. This is going all the way. There's going to be no early stoppage from me. And there's a bit when Fury gets up. At first, he's backing up with just his hands up. You can see he's just defending, but then he gets on the ropes and he puts his hand behind his back, and you hear the referee go, "No, Tyson," or just speaking to himself because of what he's just seen, which I think speaks volumes for just Fury's unpredictability.
Right, final question. Kenny from Sheffield has said, what do you make of Mike Tyson's comments about Deontay Wilder having a poor resume and not fighting anybody of note?
Well,
I mean, can we count Bermane Stiverne twice, Tyson Fury, Ortiz?
There's a couple of factors in that question, though, because, okay, those are three names. Bermane Stiverne had to fight him. Bermane Stiverne had the WBC title. The rematch, did he have to take it? No. Bermane Stiverne was somehow made mandatory to the WBC title. How, why, I don't know, because Dillian Whyte had just fought an eliminator and suddenly Bermane Stiverne was made mandatory. Tyson Fury, he thought that was a gimme fight. He thought Fury had come back. Tyson had said we had to con them into thinking that it was, one way or the other, when actually, Fury went in to win. He convinced them he was going in for a payday. I don't think he has the best of resumes. I think he probably has the worst resume out of the sort of top heavyweight contenders.
Because you look at Dillian Whyte, let's be honest. Right?
That's an 11-fight win streak.
Yeah, look at Dillian Whyte. Look who he's fought. Lucas Brown,
Joseph Parker.
Mate, he's fought Anthony Joshua. He came up short there, but he's fought Anthony Joshua. He's fought
Rivas.
Big names. Rivas.
He's the can man. He will...
Anybody can get it?
Yeah. And they can, like, Dillian Whyte he's a heavyweight that I really feel for that guy, because...
How many days is it now?
Oh, I've lost count. It was something like 600 odds. It went over 600 days of him being either number one, mandatory, whatever they want to call it. And they just, every time there's a half excuse to not give him the shot at Wilder, it doesn't, they do it. They pull him out. And I think that sort of speaks a lot, because the heavyweight division hasn't necessarily been great in terms of depth until the last couple of years. So there's an argument to say, well, when Wilder was building his profile, he was very raw when he turned pro. That's why he had so many fights so quickly in the beginning. However, when it's come up to, well, there's one face, one name, one champion, you've declined big deals from Matchroom, and then you've offered... You've said, I'll give you 50 million to fight me to AJ, but you've offered no proof of funds, nothing there other than, do you accept? Well, on what term? It doesn't work like that in the real world. It's great for YouTube comments, and it's great for people that don't understand business, but the reality is, there's a lot more that goes into making a fight than that. And then he sort of comes out like, I'm the most deadliest man on the planet, everything. Cool, we'll fight Dillian Whyte. If you're that confident and you're that convinced, you're calling him a peasant, well, fight him then. You got offered, what, 7.5 million? So if you think he's a bum, 7.5 million to fight a bum, when your best payday at that point had been 2.5 million, why aren't you snatching off Eddie Hearn's hand? So I think Wilder's probably going into this Fury fight thinking, if I lose, I retire, because I'll have proven myself or whatever. There'll be some reason he'll retire or not, we'll go for a rematch, and if he loses that, he'll retire. And if he wins, he's just going to keep monkeying around Dillian Whyte, keep trying to extort Anthony Joshua. Is he worthy of 50-50? Probably to an extent now, because I think Matchroom have realised negotiations aren't going to go in their favour. But the reality is he a pay-per-view star? Is he someone that you would personally, if you're watching Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, which fighter is making you pay the money to watch that fight?
Well, to be fair, if you asked me the same question a year ago, a load of people would have said Tyson Fury. But right now, to be honest, Deontay Wilder has a highlight reel of knockdowns. I think the one that comes to mind for me was Brazil. And another one was when he knocked down Spilka. And right about now, with that right hand, he's a bad man. Yeah, regardless of what anyone says, he's got something about him. He's got gold dust in that right hand. So the current situation is, whoever he fights now, it's a big fight. It's a big fight. And for me, he's put himself in that position to be now 50-50.
Do you think?
Yeah, I believe so, because he's knocking down everything left, right, and centre who he fights, first and foremost. Secondly, for me, growing up as a youngin watching boxing, that WBC belt, the green coveted belt, yeah, for me, yeah, means a hell of a lot.
I think it does, but what if this is a successful defence and then the rematch is a successful defence? So then logically he should fight his mandatory. What if he then becomes franchise champion? I'm struggling. From my perspective, I've been intrigued by Wilder because it's like, how can a man that can't box just knock out so many people? But then I think a lot of the things he's come out publicly and said, I want a body on my record. When he was talking about Brazil, he's like, bring your kids to the arena. I want them to see their daddy get killed. All these things, it's just like, it turns me off. Because I like boxing, the art of boxing, the sport. And I get that you've got to say things for hype, but the more that he sort of exposes himself to the masses, which is kind of what he needs to be a breakthrough star, the more I go a bit like, nah. The only reason I'm going to pay to watch the fight in February is because of Tyson Fury. Regardless of which broadcaster has it, it's going to be Fury. I'm a big Fury fan. I love the redemption story. I think he got robbed in the first fight. If it was Wilder Brazil pay-per-view, would I pay to watch it? No. I'd watch the highlights in the morning. If it was AJ Wilder, I'd pay to watch AJ. If it was White Wilder, I'd pay to watch White. But I wouldn't personally part with my money to watch Deontay Wilder fight.
Wow, you heard it from the man himself, Dirty Harry. Dirty Harry says what he likes, does what he likes. He's got that Vince McMahon strut when he's on the road. Now that's it from us. I'd urge you guys to leave your comments in the comments box below. Let us know what you think of this massive rematch that is not far away. And on a weekly basis, we'll be covering the fight. We'll be covering build up to the fight. Interviews. Dirty Harry will be talking about it in his Q&As. And the most important thing is to support Pep Talk UK. Subscribe, leave your comments. I think it's fair to say we out ya.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I'll probably answer your questions next week. Cheers.